Yo, all right, what is up? So happy to have everyone back for another amazing week of Beyond the Panel
Hey, hey,
Presents, and it's been absolutely insane.
yes.
Earlier 2 weeks ago, I want to say we got all the numbers for like a breakdown of what flopped the hardest in 2023. This comes straight from Cinema Legion, and definitely there weren't many shocks. At the top of that list, of course, was the
I mean, like,
Marvels. What are your thoughts on that?
man, what are my thoughts? I mean, like, who's surprised? Are you
Right?
surprised? I'm not
I'm
surprised.
not
I told you
surprised.
this was going to be an epic bomb. I told you
Yep.
guys. I told you. I still didn't watch it. I'm not wasting my hours. I need them in this lifetime. Believe me, time is precious here. We do this so you don't have to. See, he sacrificed, so now I don't have to sacrifice. I appreciate that, Chris. But yeah, what do I think? I think exactly what everybody else
I
thinks,
didn't
that the
hate it.
DEI is. I didn't listen. It's not anything to love or hate. It's about consistency. It's
Yeah.
about knowing that you had a hit and that's cool and that's it. It's
Yep.
like that old song. You got to know when to roll them, know when to hold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Like they had made over $1 billion having this weird movie sandwiched between two of the biggest Avengers movies. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, but to sit there and think, oh, not only are we gonna make more money, um, we're just gonna add all this diversity that no one even asks for nor cares about. Because when you hear diversity in comics, I laugh all the time because I grew up in the 70s and I don't know any other version of comics other than diverse nature. I mean, we could
Exactly.
go back to early 70s. Storm, oh God, love her. You know what I'm saying? Black character in the
Rogue.
70s. Black Panther,
Yep.
black character in the 70s. Luke Cage, black character in the 70s. I mean, and Luke Cage is the strongest Superman. You had I don't want to say diverse because I don't think like diversity. That's just the way the comic world was. And it had everything and everyone. So what? We didn't even care about that. No one cared about that.
So this is the breakdown for how this went. At the
Okay.
box office worldwide, it made 206.1 million. Then its
Mm.
other revenues, theatrical revenue was 88 million, home entertainment was 40 million, television and streaming was 90 million, for a total of 218 million in total revenue. The production
Whew.
cost, $270 million. So right there, they already lost just under 50 or just over $50 million.
Yes,
Prints and
but now let's
ads.
count. Yes.
Prints
Go
and
ahead.
ads, 110 million. Residuals and
There
other
you go.
distribution expenses, 21 million. Interest and overhead, 54 million. And participations was null and void. Total expenses, $455 million was the break-even point, and that's a total loss of negative $237.
Yeah.
$237 million,
And then people are wondering why your stock is
right?
tanking.
Yeah.
Whoever has Disney stock right now, honestly, you guys should have got out like about a year or two ago. I'm not no financial advisor. Don't listen to me. You may keep all your money. I'm
Yep.
just saying, like, I would have thrown it to Disney at this point. You see, you gotta understand what's going on exactly at Disney. They listen, guys. This DEI money is so nefarious. It's
Mm-hmm.
so it's just driving corporations.
It's so
Like I
bad.
get
It's
this.
actually going away from what I've heard.
Yeah, and this is why. This is what I'm getting to. So
Nobody's
yeah,
taking it.
people were getting this money during the COVID times, and now all that money is drying up. This was that DEI that they were pushing. Get a captive audience, tell them what you want them to hear, because in theory it makes sense. The problem is
Yep.
the theory is that all of these kids who are out there who identify as whatever letter in the alphabet you want to identify, um, will come into an immense amount of wealth, which I'm not leaving my money to no damn Gen Zers. You better screw. No, Gen Alpha. I heard they are like Gen X now. They are white in teachers. You hearing about Gen Alpha? Yes, that's the generation I like.
Next year will be the first year that I teach a Gen Alpha.
Oh, right. Let me know how that goes.
Actually, well, let me correct myself. When I taught kindergarten, that was technically Gen Alpha, but it wasn't like a Gen Alpha of a teenager. It was a Gen Alpha of.
They were small then, you know.
Yes, exactly. Like they're your typical 5-6-year-old. They were like, you can't tell a generation apart based on a 5 or 6-year-old, or at least it's very hard to. And then you get into Gen Alpha when they're officially like, this is the first age when they're going to be in 6th grade coming into next year in the 2024-2025 school year. And it will be very interesting to see how it plays out, because then in 2 years time after that, you'll have all Gen Alpha in middle schools. So how will that play out? And then in another year's time after that, you won't have any kids in school that were affected by COVID during their lifetime.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing about that is,
this is all going to play out.
See, I'm liking Gen Alpha already because they're bringing it back to the old school. I can't wait to see these kids unleash into the world. I'm just saying, like,
my kids are so involved in Power Rangers and like everything that's 90s-esque and before. They're loving it. All of the 90s animation. My son wants to start watching X-Men 97. I was like, sure, we'll watch it. And then I start watching. I was like, oh, this was not made for children. We'll watch the original X-Men.
I mean, I got through the first 3 or 4 episodes of X-Men 97. Yeah, I'm a fan. I ain't gonna lie. I thought I was gonna like it.
It's a good watch, and I've got a student right now. He's like, if you watch X-Men 97, we talk about it every week. He talks like he knows X-Men very well, so it's fun to have that conversation with him.
It's cool because I really like the premise. If you think about it, right, like what you just said, just the perfect example. Your generation had X-Men. Now this generation has X-Men 97. It's still the original X-Men. But they threw the 97 on it. It's 2023. So now everybody's getting the vibe on this one show that we already knew was cool back in the day.
Yeah.
And it just took you guys all these generations to catch up. So come on over. It's fine. I mean, I got over. Oh, I can't. No. I'm not even gonna say that. I didn't get over Rogue's ass being gone. Sorry. I mean, I'm just like totally still heartbroken about that. But I did give it a chance.
Give you any spoilers. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to give you any spoilers.
Yeah, don't. I won't give any spoilers either. I'll just say this much from the episodes I watched so far. I really like how it's going. The story it's as good as I thought. I mean, I'm befuddled. I have to do a little more research. Are these like the original writers? Because the styling seems similar, the animation seems similar. But I did notice a couple
original everything.
Okay, yeah, I can tell because this is the kind of writing that I like. But they did do a couple of subtle changes that I noticed right off the bat. And one of them was, I love Storm, but Jesus Christ, why did you have to make her so damn dark? Like, I guess she's a black person, but they made her from the original cartoon to that one just a shade darker. And I noticed that originally. I was like, man, okay. Whatever. We know she's black. You don't have to emphasize it. Like, it's like you're trying to get attention to something that is already there. Like, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. When I had Storm comics, I used to go crazy for this. She's such a she's a goddess. She's an Omega level mutant. You people forget the fact that she's a woman. Screw that. She's Omega level. That's like a god. She's literally a goddess, a walking goddess. That's why I like when Magneto says, like, that's what he says to her in there. He says, yes, look, this is an Omega level weather witch. She's literally a goddess. Like, we are witnessing a goddess. Like, even Magneto admires the fact that, so I get it, but you don't have to go crazy with, and she's black, by the way. No, who cares? She's Storm. I don't care about the color of her skin. That's not important to me.
Yeah.
I care about the powers that she wields, And like the same thing when I'm writing my comic, I don't really I don't think about like the race. It kind of comes to me and the sex will come to me. but I don't put like emphasis on it. I put more emphasis on creating the character overall,
Yeah.
and then I try to see when I'm doing my drawings and I'm doing my
What
sketches
fits
and I'm
and
doing my computer animations. I try to see like, okay, I'll put something together. I'm like, yeah, now could this be a male, female? What can we do? And I try to imagine its life before it's ever alive.
yeah.
That's how I create. You know, I like doing that particular style of art, and I just feel like Marvel and Disney, they already know the. I mean, I know you probably heard this already, but they are slashing production down to everything. Because, like I said, that DIE money's dying, it's
Yep.
drying up, and that's
Good.
it. The free ride's over,
Good.
baby. Time to go back
See,
to
and
work and make some money.
that's what I wonder is how much of the money for Marvels was DIE money or DEI money, whatever the hell you want to call it. um that was part of the production cost that's basically a write-off now for Disney.
Oh, I
Because
could put
I
it
was
to you like
looking
this.
back, there are not many Disney movies that have ever made a profit. And it's actually kind of shocking.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
you look back at all the originals and they did not make a profit at the theaters. It was
no.
the home releases, everything else that allows these properties to become famous and profitable. Look at Frozen. Frozen did not do well in the theater.
Right.
And
It
it is
was
a household
merchandise.
name now.
Right. Right. Because what you just said. Remember, I tell you about my comic, right? I got a comic,
Yep.
but it's not a comic company, people. It's CCC. It's a clothing company, collectibles. That's where the real money's made. You understand? So, yes. Oh, and also they have a damn park. Remember, I told you, the park is the funnel for everything they do. They have a park. And they're very easy to maintain. I mean, and plus, you know, you got the best people working in the world for you over there. They really do. I mean, how many times you hear people dying in Disney? I haven't heard of any accidents in Disney. Like, pretty much, the only things I ever heard that was horrifying is going by the little princess shop and having some dude in a dress coming out to greet your daughter. But that's just something I heard. I don't know how true that is. But, you know,
I mean, of course, there's people that get hurt all the time. Like,
yeah,
it is what it is. But at the
hey,
same time, over time, Disney's become profitable. They've been able to, excuse me, they've been able to become profitable for years and years and years because they have such a good name.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem now is that they were going from being a profitable company to like losing all their money because, like I said, this DEI money was coming and people were grabbing it and people wanted it. They were like, yo, okay, so what we got to do to get this money? Okay, just say this, that, and the other thing, and that's it. Stand by our causes. I mean, because it's if you really want, I don't want to go into it too deep, but it's all has to do with everything, the economy, politics, all that, everything's mixed up into this. So never think for a second that the messages that Hollywood tries to push onto the populace is not anything that is being whispered in their ears to do. Okay? Like, look at the movie Civil War. Let's talk about that. Don't you find it funny a couple months before the election comes out? We just so happen to have a movie called Civil War. Right. I find that to be coincidental. It's not. I mean, there's think tanks in the world that think like this, you know? I won't give out the names. They know who they are. Hey, put this out in the populace. Make a movie about aliens. Roswell was happening. And what was happening during the Roswell time? You were getting alien movies. You were getting UFO movies. All these weird movies. You know why? It's done on purpose to see how the population can actually handle a situation like that. So they do these things. Like, movies are entertainment, but also remember, there's numbers that go into these movies. There's demographics. What are they doing with these numbers and these demographics of people who are watching this particular movie? Let's just say you wanted to get into the psyche of a modern day teenager. How are you going to do that? Oh, it's simple. What do you like to watch? What do you listen to? Where do you like to go out? Do you like to watch movies? Like, these are the profiles that everybody has. We all have them. We just don't know that we have them, but everyone has a profile. And this is what these companies do. They try to find that profile and how they can exploit that profile to make money off of you, which is smart. I mean, you know, if you're putting out something that attracts people and people want it, I mean, that's good business,
Yeah.
The thing about Disney is that I believe that at a time they could have made a lot more money, but I do
Oh, for
believe
sure.
that everything, like, I think Disney always looking ahead into the future. And I just believe that when we're having a conversation, we can all agree on something to a certain extent,
Yep.
but we all have to convince each other. And I think that's what happens a lot in today's society, that people are trying to convince each other that, look, this demographic of people that are coming down the line that are going to have wealth, we need to appeal to them.
So,
No one's saying not to do that, but what
yeah.
you should be doing is you should be taking care of what got you to the dance. Like, when I go to watch a movie, I don't
Yeah.
need to be lectured about your livelihood, your choices, your
Exactly.
like no one cares. Heterosexual people do not run around talking like this to each other. We just
Yep.
don't. It's no need to.
Nobody's sitting there listening
No
to it.
one
It's
has
not
to.
happening. Yeah.
I think we don't care. We
Yep.
just don't. I don't care.
Yep.
Affirm me or don't affirm me. I mean, I've had
Yeah.
people on the phone tell me I sound like a girl sometimes. I sound like a boy. I don't care. I'm not going to get offended by it.
Yep.
Whatever you perceive to be is what you're going to perceive to be. The problem I have is that you're trying to force me to acknowledge something that isn't real in my reality.
Exactly.
Now, I respect whatever you want to do. That's fine. I respect whatever you want to do, but I
So,
certainly as hell will not, like, pretty much just, I'm not going to conform to anyone's delusions. That's all
yeah.
I'm saying. And it's not to sound mean or anything like that. It's just to put things into perspective, because when you start letting things like this pass, and look what's going on in the country. I don't mean to try to make this political, but look what's going on in the country. I mean, you got people protesting for things that
Yeah.
they don't even have any idea what the hell they're protesting about.
Yep.
It's showing up the campus. We're protesting for, what were we here for? What's this protest? You seen that one with the girls? And she was like,
Yep.
I don't know what we're here. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You see,
So,
that is consume more product, get ready for the next product, don't ask questions, and that's what you do. You just follow along. I'm sorry, guys.
no, you're good. So, looking back on Disney, Bambi was successful. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was successful. Beauty and the Beast had a budget of $20 million, which obviously you double that roughly, and that ends up being the break-even point. Made $400 million. Then you start getting to Aladdin in 1992. $28 million is the budget. They made $504 million. Hunchback of Notre Dame, $100 million budget,
See, it's all slowing up.
$325 million what it made worldwide.
Yes.
And you start to see the slow fall of Disney. It's actually kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because Tarzan in 1999 spent $145 million, made $448 million. So that budget, that basically the break-even point's going up, and yet you're still seeing about the same amount of money they're making.
Yes, you see that, right?
Fantasia 2000, an amazing movie, one that so many people love to this day. $80 million budget, $60 million it made worldwide. Emperor's New Groove, $100 million budget. This came out in 2001. $186 million it made. So that did not break even, roughly.
Yeah.
Again, if we go off that doubling that we usually see.
Yeah.
Treasure Planet. Atlantis, The Lost Empire, $90 million, made $186 million. Barely broke even. Treasure Planet, $100 million, made $91 million. Definitely lost some money there, which was obvious. I mean, nobody really talks about Treasure Planet anymore. Brother Bear spent $46 million to make it, made $250 million. So you started to see Disney go back up with Brother Bear. We know that Brother Bear was wildly successful. It got a sequel. Chicken Little in 2005, $150 million budget, $310 million worldwide. So that barely broke even, if it did at all.
Yeah.
Same with Bolt in 2008, $150 million, $328 million made. Princess and the Frog, one that was the very first black princess that was so up in, people loved it. They were saying how amazing it was. $105 million budget, $270 million made. You'd think that would be a lot higher. just
Yeah.
with all the innovation there.
All the hype.
Tangled.
Yeah.
Tangled. One of the best animated movies, in my opinion, of the past 10, 15 years. $260 million budget,
Wow.
$582 million it made. Winnie the Pooh in 2011, $30 million budget, only made $50 million. So that probably lost money. Wreck-It Ralph, $165 million budget, $469 million made. Frozen, $150 million, $1 billion at the box office. So that definitely made a ton of money
Mega
for
hit.
them. That was a
Mega
mega
hit.
hit.
Yep.
Big Hero 6, $165 million. So I was wrong. I thought Frozen was one of those ones that people were like, no, we're not going to go see. And then it came out and people were like, oh yeah, we got to go see it. It in its opening weekend, Frozen only made $243,000.
Oh, damn.
So if it went on that trajectory, it would have never made money.
Yeah, because usually
but
when you go on a projector you're doing your first week, usually is a
Yep.
telltale sign of how you're going to do. So the fact that they actually pulled out that, good for them. Yeah, but that was a
Exactly.
great movie. That woman can sing.
That's why I thought it flopped, because it only made that much at the beginning. Big Hero 6, $165 million budget, $647 million. We know that Big Hero 6 was massive and huge. Zootopia, $150 million. Another $1 billion project for them.
Nice.
Is what it made. Moana, $150 million. $687 million. It made worldwide. Wreck-It Ralph breaks the internet, $175 million. $529 million. So again, it's going past break even, but just barely. Frozen 2, $150 million with $1 billion for the first one. It made another $1.45 billion.
Wow.
Raya the Last Dragon, there's no real production budget that was found, but it made $116 million, and that was another phenomenal one. Encanto, one of the biggest ones that have come out in the past 5 years, $150 million, made $231 million.
Wow.
And that came out after COVID. Strange World, $135 million, only made $70 million.
Yeah,
Wish, $200 million, only made $240 million.
Oh
So
my God.
It doesn't seem like it's a Disney problem. It seems like it's a post-COVID people not wanting to go to the theaters anymore. Because Encanto, my kids will watch that on repeat and not have a problem. Wish, as soon as that came out, my kids were watching it on Disney Plus. They were loving it. Strange World, I honestly have not seen it yet, but I've heard good and bad things about it, depending on who you are. Raya and the Last Dragon, another one that was absolutely phenomenal. It came out March 5th of 2021, so shortly after or actually a year after COVID. I don't think it ever hit theaters. I think it went straight to Disney Plus because of that, and still made a good amount of money for them. I honestly don't think that we're seeing a fall of Disney. I think we're seeing a fall of movies and a fall of theaters.
I'm going to tell you also what it was too. Remember, like I said, everybody's recovering from this COVID. I call it the COVID fever.
Yeah.
And this was when streaming was getting big. So this is the streaming. Now understand, no one runs a better platform and makes profit off of streaming more than Netflix. They got that science down to the T. Others have tried. Everyone has failed. So understand, even with
actors are signing on to work with Netflix. Adam Sandler's a perfect example.
Dude, trust me. I'm telling you right now. I'm already working around several Netflix shows that are going to be huge.
Yeah.
Oh, I will tell you this much, though. I think I could speak on this because I wasn't told that I couldn't say anything. It's probably out there already. I don't know. But, you hearing it? If it's not, then we breaking it right here. So we're going to clip this out to a short. But it's definitely happening within the next year. All of the shows from Netflix that were out originally are going back to Netflix. Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones, but not Iron Fist. Iron Fist was the only one that they didn't care to do. And
Defenders?
This is like, yeah, they're gonna do like this is gonna become the new Defenders.
Okay.
So, and from what I'm hearing, it's sick. It's sick. All of the cast is coming back. All of the crew. Everyone. I'm trying to get on this project. So I know about it. So, trust me. Wait till I'm on that project. Woohoo! Oh, it's going to be wonderful. I was already on Evil, so I'm getting closer to Luke.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. So this is definitely something that's going to happen. And I'm telling you what's been going on, because people like me, I'm not no one real special, but we do get to speak to these people. And, we're always
So
telling
why is Netflix able to succeed when everyone else is failing?
because Netflix is doing three things that is totally right, that no one is thought about doing before this, and they're doing it now. They're catching up, but Netflix already ahead. Netflix realized that where its strengths are going to lie is in original content. So what did they do? They went around and they brought up about two old abandoned studios in Bushwick, Brooklyn, and made that their own. So they have established a film studio. That's one, right?
Okay.
Number two, they don't want to work with talent agents and stuff like this. They'll work with big stars. But what they try to do is cut through all that and give the actual talent more money. It's almost like as if you're cutting out your talent agent. You guys are sharing more in the profit. And they are absolutely giving their stars percentages in royalties for how many hours are watched per show. I mean, a lot of streaming services, I believe, do this, but not better than Netflix, And
Yeah.
The third thing they do is they absolutely keep their pulse to the ground. They keep their ear to the ground. They listen to their audience. They listen to everyone. Like when the Dave Chappelle show came out, and like there was an entire there was going to be a boycott, I guess, or a strike because of the show coming out by the LGBTQ staff, I guess that was there.
Okay.
And they pretty much told them freedom of speech, too bad, get back to work. If you're offended, we don't care. And that's the way you should be. Because guess what? When you're working, that's not your place to have your little freedom of speech. No. You're on the clock. Shut up.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do the job, trust me, there's 100 more people waiting behind
Yeah.
you. They're waiting. I know. I'm one of them. Believe me. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that opportunity. I'm just going to jump on someone's grave. Just get out of here. Boom. I'm in. No, I don't have to be like that. But yeah, I mean, Netflix is doing what it needs to do, is listen to its customer base. It's also buying IPs.
Is it still working on Something is Killing the Children?
Yes, and I'm hearing that, well, it was about the artists, the two artists that were doing this. So I think one of them's out, and another one's coming in to finish up, I guess. But the artist that I'm hearing that's coming to finish it up, if it is what I think, and I can't say because I was told by that person not to say anything. As they are getting their own Netflix series already, an animated series. So I can't really say who it is, but they jumping on finishing this up, and I'm hearing by 2025 everything should be tight with this. It's just a matter of, I believe that they're trying to figure out just how to rate this. I say make it an R-type show.
Yeah, TVMA, like whatever you got to do, right?
Who cares about the kids? It's Netflix. You pay for that, so that's it.
Well, also it's a show called Something is Killing the Children.
Killing the children, yeah. Oh, what's killing the children, mommy? Let's find out together. Yeah, exactly. It's okay.
Something is Killing the Children with a sequel, House of Slaughter. Like, what do you think this was going to be? A kids' family show? Like, come on.
I was 7 years old watching The Exorcist, okay? I mean, like, who cares? Let your kids watch whatever the hell they want to watch. So long as it doesn't psychologically affect them, who cares? Everybody tries to protect their kids. In my generation, in my day, the adults didn't try to protect us. No. They just threw you out the house and said, get your ass back here by 7 o'clock. That's it. Everybody went outside. Everybody got in trouble.
When the lights come on, your ass needs to be in the house.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Once those lights come on, get home. And that's it. And that was fine. We didn't need no protection. That's why when I see all this, I laugh. I'm like, this is the problem. Stop protecting the youth. Something's killing the children. Let the children fight back.
So
Yeah.
going off of that,
Mm-hmm.
like flops and what's succeeding and whatnot, The Flash is the second biggest flop in 2023. I don't think
Oh
anyone is
yeah.
shocked about that.
Oh no.
Like,
Shocked. I like that.
in all honesty, nobody is shocked about The Flash flopping.
No,
It
definitely not.
it made 250 million. It had a budget of 200. And I'm still not sure this is the actual number because I want to say with the amount of reshoots and going back to the drawing table and all of that, I'm gonna say that production budget was about 300 million.
Yeah.
If they spent 70 million just to reshoot a couple scenes in Justice League, they probably spent a good 300 million to reshoot a bunch of stuff that had Ezra Miller that they didn't need Ezra Miller for anymore.
Yeah. I definitely
And
agree with that.
that would mean, so right now, with $200 million production costs, $120 million in prints and ads, $25 million in residuals and other distribution expenses, and $60 million in overhead and interest. That would be a total expense of $405 million. Only made $250. So that's a studio loss of $155 million.
Damn.
And that's
155
not assuming that those reshoots cost them money, which we all know they did.
Woo-hoo. Listen, the
So
reshoots, man. The
somewhere
lot.
between 155 to 255 million would be my guess, which
Look,
would
shout
put it
out.
right up there with Marvel's.
Yeah.
Marvel's was 273 million. I'd say Flash was probably close to 255 million as a loss
Yeah,
with
wow.
reshoots
That's
and
a
all that.
big loss. 255 million.
Indiana Jones was number 3, which is also a Disney property now. This is a movie that never should have been made. Nobody was asking for another Indiana Jones movie. Even the Indiana Jones fans. I mean, I was never a huge fan growing up. I grew up in the Shia LaBeouf Indiana Jones, and I was like, what the hell is this supposed to be? It made 373 million, but its total expenses, $300 million production budget, $120 million prints and ads,
Yeah.
36 million for residuals and other distribution expenses,
We're talking
and
half
then
a bill.
60 million for interest and overhead is a lot, or is a expense of $516 million.
Yeah, half a bill. Yep.
And they lost 143 million.
All
So
to give it to Phoebe Waller, Fleabag Bridget. Goodbye, Fleabag.
Disney pretty much lost $500 million this year.
Disney, just give me
Or last year,
$1 million.
2023.
All I need is $1 freaking million. I have so many good stories I can give you. Trust me, 1 million. You wasted money. Give it to me. I take that million and make it into $1 billion. It's not hard. If I had $1 million, I'd be rich overnight. I know exactly what to do with this money. It wouldn't be anything. Come on, Disney.
Wish lost them another 131 million, and Haunted Mansion lost them another 117 million.
But I gotta be honest, I kind of like the Haunted Mansion. It was corny, but it was good.
I haven't seen a Haunted Mansion yet. I love the Eddie Murphy version, so I've always wanted to watch Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
I've just never had time to sit down and watch it. We have watched Wish. It is interesting. It is a fun watch. I need to sit down and watch it like all the way through because I always feel like I'm picking it up and putting it down with the kids. And I've never been able to really like dive into it. But it definitely seems like a good movie. It's definitely one of those ones like Encanto that's probably going to grow well with its age. But the fact that we have movies like Encanto, movies like Wish, movies like Raya that are failing, that then make it big once they hit streaming services, shows that there is a bigger problem than just the fact that these movies are not good. Because clearly kids are enjoying them. Clearly they're fun. They're engaging. It's something beyond that.
Well,
and I think you hit it perfectly. Is Netflix is the way to go. Like the way that they're doing it, that's the way to do it.
Not only
especially
that,
for kids. Who's going to go bring their 3 or 4 year olds to the movie theater and sit them down for an hour and a half? It's much more
Right.
lucrative to have your streaming service play for an hour and a half here, an hour and a half there, an
Yeah.
hour and a half there.
It's more convenient to the family that you're trying to target to begin with,
Yep.
and it's more affordable.
Yeah.
What does it cost? Let's just average it out right off the bat. Family of four, go to the movies, popcorn, soda, all that. You're spending over $100. Listen to what I
Yeah.
just said. $100. $100.
It's $40 just to walk in the door for a
You
family of
could
four.
just go to your streaming service, rent the same movie out for like $10,
Yep.
$14, sit at your house, make whatever food you want. I mean, like, I was going to Dave and Buster's back in the day to do UFC, and then I realized I have an arcade machine in my living room. Hold on. And my kitchen's right next to my living room. And I have the best cook, my woman. I was like, yo, let's do a UFC
Yep.
here. Oh, Jesus, I love it. I don't need to go out anymore.
As nice as
I
Dave and
save so
Buster's
much.
is.
Right, yeah, no, it's nice experience to have. Don't get me wrong. But it's like I have a seat right in front of the TV, and if I step 2 steps to the left, there's a bathroom right there. You can't beat that, man.
Yep.
And then 4 steps is the kitchen. I can't beat
Yeah.
that. So I just look at it like this, like especially now with inflation and everything, is that, well, movies have become so expensive to make, so expensive to put out there to distribute. Even for the movie theaters themselves, we're not even considering what it's going to cost them to buy new popcorn seed, what it's costing
Yeah.
them to for electricity, what it's costing them to to run. You got employees you gotta pay. Everything goes
Yep.
up. Everybody wants to get paid more. I understand that. But then what happens when you're doing that is that you start to create a vacuum, a negative vacuum. So as things keep going up, the vacuum keeps getting worse. So what you're seeing is a disconnect. And what you're going to see in the future within the next 5 to 10 years is that you're hardly ever going to see anything out in the theaters. Theaters are going to be completely different in a way that they will be for not just for movies, for big movies, but
Yeah.
for sports, for like, sports events. Like, let's say you want to go
Yeah.
see boxing or WrestleMania or whatever. These
Do you have
things
Apple
are,
Theaters near you yet? Or Apple Cinema, I think it's called?
not that I noticed, no, but they're coming.
Okay.
They're coming. But we do have AMCs out here and stuff.
Yeah.
And I do believe that the future will, for theaters, they're going to survive, but they're just going to have to adapt in a way that makes sense for them to stay in profitable business. And so the disconnect you're seeing right now is a matter of, like I said, it all comes down to politics. It's a matter of inflation. It's a matter of the budget. We're on the Bionomics. Good job. It's a matter of not having that disposable income anymore to go take your family of four out. Like, I'm saying it costs $100. Tomorrow it may be $125. Inflation, gas prices, grocery prices, things that you have. Like, the more, it's like every year it seems to get tougher for people, especially if you have a family. Oh my God, I already raised a family. I'm good. I couldn't imagine doing it in this day and age. Everything's so out of control. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me that you would want to do this for the sake of your family, for the sake of your budget, for the sake of your income. I mean, I don't have no problem with it, but it goes to show you that, yeah, what really always made the money is what I always said all along, is the home stuff. It's the merchandise. That DVD is the movie, and you throw a little doll in there, a little collectible, and you just made yourself a merchandisable pack.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Somebody's throwing fireworks off. Do it. So, see, they agree.
It's crazy because like you're thinking about all the stuff that we grew up with.
Yeah.
Being able to go to the theaters 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year for just random movies. I remember going to the Pokemon movie, and as trash as that was, being able to go to see it in the theaters whenever it came out, I was probably about 7 at the time. I loved it. And my grandmother to this day, she's like, "Oh, I took you to go see it and this and that." And I'm like, "Well, you didn't have to. Like, that wasn't a big deal." But again, back then it was $8 to $9 for a ticket.
Yeah.
And now it's 12 to 15, sometimes even $18 for a ticket.
Yeah.
And again, you're talking just to get in that door. The door fee is where it's gone up, but so has everything else.
Yeah, that
The
concession stand.
fact that a bag of popcorn, a large popcorn, a large drink, and a box of candy will set you back $30 now is insane to me. And
Oh
like you
my
said, and
god.
that's if I walk in with my wife, her and I walk in there, we go and we sit down, we've got the $10 movie pass with a 25% off at the concessions. We're in about $50. We
That's
took our
crazy.
son, and I want to say between the popcorn he bought, the because it was his first time going, we bought a big box of popcorn. We bought the big thing of soda, we bought him a little thing of soda so that he had something. We bought a big thing of soda for her and I to share. I want to say, all in all, we were probably back about $60 to $70,
Damn.
and that was when that was 2 years ago when Across the Spider-Verse came out.
Yeah.
Maybe last year, whenever the hell that movie came out.
It was last
Seems
year.
like it's been forever.
The years going by.
Last year when Across the Spider-Verse came out, we were back about $50 to $60, maybe even 70 by the end of the night.
Wow.
And I mean, that was just for the three of us. So
That's
I can only
insane.
imagine what a family of four that actually has kids that are going to sit down and eat and enjoy their time eating that popcorn, and that whole large container is going to be gone, and you're going to be going back for the seconds and all that shit. I can only imagine what that might cost nowadays. I've heard
Do
some
like
people say they're spending $120 to go to the theater, and that's not even to spend it on the movie. And
I
people are
can't,
like,
man.
"Oh, you're insane." It's like, no, that's genuinely what it's costing for a family of 4 to 6 to go watch a typical movie on a typical time when a family would go. Like, movie theaters aren't dumb. They're going to make sure that when most people are going, when families are going, they're going to jack up their rates. It's
Of
not
course.
Tuesday night on a school night.
Yeah.
That's when you get all the chick flick old women going, and they get to enjoy their little chick flick movies for $5 a ticket, and then they spend another $20 per person on food and all that fun stuff. Like, no, when you've got a family going, it's 12 to $15 a ticket. It's
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah.
And Apple
It is.
Cinemas, like with Apple Cinemas, this is going to be the new thing of the future, in my opinion. It's going to be a go, sit down, get served, have a meal, and watch a movie while you have that meal.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an $80 to $150 night.
Oh,
A luxury, but still, if I can have a good meal, like if I can go out for dinner and watch the movie at the same time, I'll do it. It's basically going to be like a comedy show. I mean,
yeah, I
it's
hear you.
definitely well worth it depending on the service and all that, but
Yeah. It's all it's
is it
also
worth it
depending
just
on
to go
what you're
see a new
watching.
movie that's coming out? I'd rather go to the drive-in, in all honesty.
Yeah,
Shit.
I'll be honest. I'm not spending $100+ in the theater. Just not doing it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I won't do it. I mean, I was lucky growing up. That was my first job. I was an usher. So I've always had a knack with not just getting to see movies, but I don't know. I've always been around cinema, and I've always gotten to see it for
Yeah.
practically nothing. I've been lucky in that manner. Like even when I stopped working in the industry for a minute, I was still like have access to all the theaters and stuff. Um, yeah, and I noticed that over the years too. Like like there was times where I had taken my kids out, and but we're talking years ago, and I don't even remember spending that kind of money. I mean, like, nah.
Nowhere
I
near
mean,
that.
nah. I was
Yeah.
spending maybe I would say, because if I did a matinee with two kids and me, um, I would say maybe $40 at most. And I thought that was expensive, but back then, I mean, the movies for me, the theaters were way better. I mean, I get it;
Yeah.
it's more modern now, but nothing's really changed that much to the point. I did like when they were running the 3D movies for a minute. They just had to work on that darking technology. That's it. It was just getting a little too dark. But that 3D technology was good when they did it on 3D movies. And once they stopped doing that, that's when I started to see the movies declining again. And it's like the service has gotten worse and the fees have gotten more expensive. Hey, I'm gonna make a worse product, so you're gonna give me more money. And I'm not asking you. I'm telling you, this is how it's gonna go down. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna change the industry forever. I mean, I wouldn't be
You just saw
surprised
that.
if what happened? What did I miss?
Northern Lights apparently are in our backyard right now.
Oh,
I'll have to go check
really?
those out in a minute, but I just looked it up. So if you wanted to go see Fall Guy tonight with your two kids at 10:30 p.m., two tickets or two adult tickets, two kid tickets, buying them online before the show, how much you think you're paying?
Man, I'm gonna say two tickets for
Before tickets. So
adults,
two adult, two kid.
two
Four
kids.
tickets total.
Yeah, okay. Oh man, 30. I would just say for the tickets alone, like $50. Just for the
52.76.
yeah. See, I'm a good calculator. Wow,
Like,
52.76. Yeah, that's just
and
to get in the door.
that's
Like,
8.76 in convenience fees for buying them online.
yeah, I just do it the old fashioned way. Show up and be like, hey, every corner I can cut. Yeah, I
Yep.
see stuff like that. I don't even bother with that. Like, unless it's a show that I really, really have to see. But if it's something that I have the flexibility to go see whatever I want, I'm
Yeah.
catching it early. I'm catching it early. I'm asking my friends, hey, you guys have any premieres of anything coming up? You know, I get lucky sometimes. I get like full screenings. Like we get to test out. Like the watch groups, we're the people that go there and say it sucks. It's
Yeah.
funny that me and my union friends do this, and we just say the movie sucks, and then it just goes back into reshoots.
Yep.
These are what they so I get to watch a lot of stuff. Like I said, I've always been lucky in this, but yeah, I see like the average person cannot afford. This is lunacy. I can't understand how like we have like what you were just saying. We have that similar to here. AMC theaters exactly like that. You go sit down. You have and I've done it a couple of times. I mean,
yeah, that was Cinemark, regular theater, not even IMAX, just regular,
yeah,
whatever size screen that is.
yeah.
AMC is probably right around the same price. IMAX is almost 1.5 times that amount right now.
Because it's
But
1.5 times the sharpness.
yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it just goes to show you like it's not like this is not going down.
Yep.
What's gonna happen is that these theaters are just going to become extinguished in time. There's gonna be a couple of them around. Like I said, specialty theaters, the MCs, the
They're gonna
Apples, they're
price
gonna
themselves
survive.
out.
Yeah. I mean, but it's not just that they're pricing themselves out, it's everything. Like I said, it's inflation.
Well, yeah.
It's wages. I mean, I don't knock people for look, I knew a guy, right? I was working as an usher when I was very young, and I knew a very old man. I mean, I don't know, he could have done anything with his life. He's an usher. He was an usher for years. As an old man. He had a wife too, and she worked with him. And it was funny because it was like an old couple. And I see them like 20 years later. Fucking no, they haven't aged. They were always old, but they haven't aged. But what I'm saying is that I would feel bad about the stories that tell me how they're struggling, and I'm like, yeah, because you're relying on this. Like, I get it, it's a nice job, but
Yep.
I mean, you have to aspire to do better in your life. I get it. You could have the job that you love. It could be the greatest thing in the world, but at the same time, you have to aspire to do better because that job may not be enough for you to live on, to have the kind of life of freedom that you would need. Like most creative people, the problem with them is that they either don't have the finances or the time to be that creative person. Most people that get into the creative space are lucky. They get lucky when they're younger. Maybe they're that uber talented, that to the point that you just get shot up to the front of the line. But for most people, it's a struggle. It's a grind. It's a hustle. And I believe like in life, you should just be about trying to always up your game. Always try to up your game. There's nothing wrong with achievement. Don't let people tell you hard work is dead. No, you should want to always work hard. Not wanting to work hard is the problem. When that is what leads to complacency, that's what leads to degradations of society. This is a capitalistic society. This is why everything goes up. Everybody complains, everything gets expensive. Because that's the nature of capitalism. There's no, and I don't want to hear anything. I've had these conversations so many times. There is nothing that's going to replace it that's going to be better. If it falls, it'll just start up again as another capitalistic model. But I mean, capitalism is just the nature of the beast. This is just the way it is. And so as we get older, things for us that seem expensive are just going to be normal to the next generation. They go look at us like, what? This is not. Why you? Well, how much you used to pay? Like in other words. All right, you've had to have had these conversations with your elders. When I was
Yep.
your age, come with only a penny. Yeah, like stuff like that. When I was your age, I had to walk 5 miles in the snow to get to school because there
Yeah.
was no goddamn buses, and this is pretty much true in most of the cases. And
Uphill both ways.
yeah, and the
Downhill.
snow.
What's downhill? Downhill didn't exist back then. I didn't have downhill when I was your age. There was no
Downhill was a
such thing.
luxury. Downhill was a luxury. You had uphill and
You
you
had to
had
pay to
uphill
go
the hill.
downhill.
Yeah, so like it's just like, look, we're getting older and we're starting to see the world change. But yeah,
Yep.
it is a huge inflationatory matter that are now the money and all this free money, this DIE money is drying up. And they know now, they're like, okay, we have to tighten the strings on the purse.
So what's the answer? Go
The
to
answer is,
local theaters. Stop going to these big box office theaters.
yeah,
The drive-in near my house, it's about 40 minutes away. 2 movies, $11 a person.
there you go. That's good.
So you can see right now in at their theaters, and unfortunately, you do have to see them together. So you have to like both movies if you want to. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coupled with Episode 1, Star Wars. Fall Guys coupled with Abigail. Territ, I don't even know what that is coupled with Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And Kung Fu Panda's coupled with Godzilla vs. Kong. Sometimes,
Really cool.
I don't understand how they put the 2 movies together. Like, do they expect a lot of people to leave the Kung Fu Panda because they have kids and they don't want to see Godzilla vs. Kong? I don't get that. I'd much rather see Kung Fu Panda 4 coupled with Ghostbusters, or even best case scenario, Ghostbusters coupled with Fall Guy. Like, that would be my top 2. But you get to see 2 movies for the price of 1. And you're supporting a local business. And you're going in, and every dollar you spend goes towards people that are from the area. You're not going and spending money on this big corporate movie conglomerate. So it is much nicer to be able to do stuff like that when the movies do line up properly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, like, the theater could be a great experience. Like I said, depends on where you go, what you're watching. Like,
yeah.
I was given an invite to a private watch party for Across the Spider-Verse. And like an idiot, I didn't go. Because I was like, I'm so sick of this kid being Spider-Man. I didn't know that they were going to do all this. I heard some craziness, but I didn't believe it. And nope. Yeah. The only rumor I ever heard was we were going to see Gwen Stacy in this movie. And I was like, BS. This was the most secret. People that I knew the secret, I was mad at them for not telling me. Because I told them, of course, I want to say nothing. But, yeah, I had a chance to watch that privately, and I would have got the whole shebang because apparently, I think Tobey Maguire showed up at the end. But didn't know that was gonna happen. Happened, and that's when I'll go to the movies. When it's something like that, when the crowd was going nuts, because I made sure I wanted to go see it the first day because I didn't want to be. I was like, there's gotta be some craziness happening in this movie. I'm just not sure, but I just thought because I hear everything. Well, not me, but people like me, I guess, and me. I hear everything, so I wasn't hearing any kind of weird anything. I did hear that there was something hidden about the show, and they put out a ghost rumor, which was Gwen Stacy was supposed to appear in it somehow, and we were like, okay. But when it came out, that was a complete and utter shock to. Oh shit! I'm glad they kept it a secret. Don't get me wrong. I would have been mad to have found out actually. So the people that did already know, they were actually pissed off too that they knew. But what are they gonna do? It was their job to know. But yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. And things like that, events like that, I'd say, yeah, I go to the movies for. But for every movie, every generic movie that comes out, what you need to do is this. I would do it like what WWE does for pay-per-views. Big four coming out a year. You have in every company, Disney,
Yep.
Netflix, whatever, 4 big motion pictures coming out, and then make 8 miniseries across your platform. 12 projects a year. If you
Yep.
streamline it like this, you can do it. See, the
Yeah.
problem is that they thought that people needed more content. In reality, it was too much content and it was horrible.
Better content.
Right. It's not about quantity. It's about quality.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Quantity can go great with quality when it lines up. But the bottom line is you shouldn't be worried about quantity. You should always be worried about quality over quantity. When you get the quality down, you have the people's attention. When you have the people's attention, that's it. You got their purses. Because they're going to know, they're going to be like, yes, I'm flowing with this whole quality story that I'm watching.
Yep.
I like how it's shot. I love the story, the cinematography, whatever it is that you get that person to love. That's what entertainment should be about. It should be quality over quantity. So if you just did what I just said, you're going to save hundreds of millions of dollars because it's one thing like you just said. And they should know this. They're freaking Disney. They barely ever made a profit, only from a couple of mega hits.
Yep.
Those are your 4 you want for the year.
Yeah.
You want those 4, and if you get lucky the first year, and 4 of those become your hit, now you already know. Well, now I have an audience that knows I'm going to be putting out 4 good movies a year. I'm going to be putting out 8 miniseries across my platform, and I'm going to keep consistent, and I'm going to keep the lore. I'm not going to have convoluted stories that don't make sense, and all my writers have to be on board with each other. Our ideas have to mesh. We have to be able to talk to each other. Like when I'm ever in a writing room, you got to understand, writing room's weird. It's like there's a board, and there's these papers, and there's these Post-its, and there's an idea stream. And then in the idea stream, you can add what you want. And people look at it. Some people like it, some people rip it down. The thing is that no one really talks. When I'm standing in front of that board, I talk. Then I start moving stuff around. Because I feel like if you're not excited about it from even talking about how you're going to prepare it, how is it going to be any good? If your passion's not in it, like I wrote this damn comic, I made an art, everything. This my passion's in this. I couldn't have made it come to life if I wasn't passionate about it.
So Disney Animation, you were saying how like coming out with quality over quantity.
Yeah.
From 2000 to 2010, they made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies. From 2011 to 2020, they made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies. From 2021 till now, they've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies. So in 3 years, actually no, because they haven't even made an animated movie this year. In 2 years, from 2021 to 2023, they made more movies in those 2 years than they typically make over a 10-year span. And they wonder why the quality is going downhill, because they're too focused on the quantity. They're too focused on pumping out content that might hit home. It might do well. And like I said, Encanto did well. Raya and the Last Dragon did well. Wish, I feel, will do well. Strange World will probably just be what Strange World is, which is weird and strange, and it will either be a cult following classic or it won't. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's 10 years down the line for us to figure that one out. But right here, right now, putting out more movies in 2 years than you did across a whole span of 2 decades on average is insane.
It's the money, I'm telling you.
Yep.
It's because
but they're losing money. That's the thing. Like
now they're losing money, and now right. But you gotta understand, when the money comes in and it's flowing, we don't worry about
you don't worry about losing money. Yeah,
about losing money. You're just getting the money. We'll worry about losing all that later.
When you're $5 billion up, it's okay to lose too.
Yeah, it's fine. Exactly. So you know, so this is what's going on. It was the money, and whenever you see something that don't make sense, just always the answer is it's always about the money. That's it. because they made money no matter what they are putting out in their public reports. They made money. Remember,
Definitely.
they have a theme park. What did I tell you about that theme park a long time ago? I tell you, that's a little cash cow.
Yep.
What do you think? I could say I made whatever the. How are you going to know exactly how much I made? How are you going to know? When you pay in an admission, there's no ticket per ride. And why do you think they do the general admission? This is why.
Yeah.
So that you can't tell how much I've actually made. I can give you an idea of how many bands I may have sold. I can skim all those numbers off the top, a couple thousand a day. So there's money that Disney's always going to have because of that freaking park. This is how they've been successful.
For sure.
This is because in the park, not only do you get to appropriate everything that you've put out in the movies, but you got the merchandise right there. And, you know, you got, what do you have? Kids. And kids are like, I want that. I want this. And, you know, okay. I took you to this park, so I got to buy it,
and
you know?
If Disney is able to somehow break the contract they have with Universal, Disney World will be the go-to spot. Disneyland will be a great, like it is now. It's a great addition to what Disney World is. It's great for the West Coast, but there will be absolutely no reason to not go to Disney World if Marvel is allowed to be back at Disney World, or allowed to be at Disney World for the first time ever. Like that will be something crazy. I'd love to have a conversation about that, because it's baffling to me that they would have ever even signed a contract that said, Universal, you have all the rights you want to do anything you want with any Marvel character you want.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it comes down to, is that Disney already knew the convoluted history of that intellectual property being passed over, like Spider-Man to Universal years ago.
Spider-Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four.
I mean, Spider-Man is owned by Universal and by Sony, pieces of it. I mean, this is intellectual property that was brought up in the 70s and 80s because, quite honestly, Stan Lee and them were going broke.
Yeah.
They were going broke in the 70s. They were doing this for 10 years and they were making no money. Isn't it amazing that comics are worth so much millions now? And this is why, like, even with me, I struggle. Listen, guys, write a comic if you want to do it. Trust me. Listen, we're all going to struggle. It's all good. But, hey, you never know. You never know. You could be looking at the next Stan Lee. Yo, I'm going to be the first Michael Burns. But, yeah, you never know.
Definitely.
I say this because this is how these guys were. I know their history. I watched them struggle. You know, they were so embarrassed about being comic book guys that they would just tell people they were into advertisement. They would never talk about this in public. They will always keep this to the chest. No, I'm not mad at them for feeling like that because, yeah, you know, I'm pretty sure you're at an adult party back in the late 50s and 60s. What do you do for a living? Oh, I draw cartoons onto books called comics. They would have laughed you out of that room. You're silly. Get out of here, you nerd. You know, like, no one took that seriously, but they were taking it seriously because they knew that there was a future. But yeah, in the 70s, they ran into a lot of problems with money, and they wanted to get their property out there. And this is where all this convoluted property.
What's up, Mark?
Hey, what up, Mark? This is where all this convoluted freaking ownership comes in. So yeah, I mean, if I was Disney and I bought the entire Marvel lot, but I understand I couldn't really have Spider-Man, I would have put every single freaking Marvel character I could have put out there. Screw that shit. I would have made sure I had me my own Spider-Man. Like this guy right there. Right there. The BK Webb. Yeah, there you go. Make your own characters. That's it. Look, it's not hard. I would have made something that would have really pissed them off. And what are you going to do about it? It's like being... Yeah.
Mark, go back. Make sure you go back and check out the replay. We've talked a ton about all this. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Oh, definitely.
I got to go because I want to go check out the Northern Lights, see if they're still out there.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. But thanks for talking. We'll be here again next week. Same time, same place. We'll see you soon.
See, peace and love, everyone. We are out.
See ya.